Good morning, Tucson Hospice Family Care. I'm Derek,
And I'm Laura.
and we are your chaplains. Laura and I would like to come to you every month with something that you can use to help you in your self-care, in your personal and your spiritual renewal, and in your connection with yourself, your family, and to our patients and their families. Before we get started on this brand new endeavor, wanted to introduce you guys a little bit more to Laura and let you get to know her a little bit better. So, Laura, you've been with us now for a few months. Why did you choose hospice family care over what I personally know could have been any number of opportunities for you in the area of chaplaincy, and even more specifically, why hospice?
So I'm going to start with why hospice. And when I moved here a little over 6 years ago, I had been working in Colorado and I had a private practice as a therapist, and also I was working in a university as a therapist. And I came here wanting to give myself permission to do whatever. And I had the question, what am I like when I'm not working with people who are in pain? And the answer became that I work with people in pain because I ended up working for hospice. That is what I was drawn to. And it seemed like that was where, for me, God was directing me. And I worked for hospice for a year as a social worker. And then that sparked my decision to do what I'd been wanting to do probably since I was 16, and I went to seminary. So I spent 5 years in seminary and working at churches, and then in the final year in a residency, which is where Derek and I met, where I met you, Derek. And I finished seminary also not necessarily planning on hospice, and came out of it thinking, you know what, that's where I want to go. Hospice family care came because, frankly, Derek talked about the work environment, how much he loved it. And I knew that was probably the most important part of any job, is being able to work well with the people you work with. So here I am. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great to have you. Glad we get to work together again. And for everyone listening, hope that you know how much both Laura and I care about you guys, and how much we want to be here for you. So every month we want to provide something a little bit more substantial than just blabbing around on some microphones, and so we want to come with something that you can use as a tool to help you in your like I said before, in your personal journey, pouring ourselves out into caring for hospice patients and their families is clearly something that is both highly rewarding and also highly exhausting. And so it's so important for us to have some things that we can connect to. So Laura brought this to us this month, and why don't you, Laura, go ahead and tell us a little bit about this activity, and then you and I are going to go through it ourselves as kind of a guide to the rest of the folks in the office.
So this is called emotional substitution activity, and it's a way to explore our emotions, our feelings, and better understand the ways that we manage them and express them or hide them. It's a way to open ourselves up to awareness and to allowing ourselves to feel what we're feeling and express those feelings in healthy ways and encourage others to do the same. I believe that the more we understand ourselves emotionally and explore our own history, the better we are able to be present and supportive for the people we're caring for.
Right. Exactly. So let's go through this. You've got 3 or 4 questions, and by the way, we will be attaching this as we send it out to you over email. We'll also be attaching this document to that email so that you can use it and reflect on it and contemplate over it. So let's go through this. And the first question on this is, growing up, and you answer it and then I'll answer it.
Okay.
What feeling did you most have permission to express?
I think um, it's interesting. With each parent, it was a little different when I think back. Interestingly, powerful um, was okay. Joy was okay. My dad, in particular, had visions of me being someone great. So powerful was acceptable.
Okay. What what um what brought you joy as a kid?
Joy was the things that came to mind when I first asked myself this question was going to visit my family in Connecticut, going camping in Vermont, New Hampshire, visiting my family in New Jersey, going to my great grandfather's and having on Sunday and having pasta and with my Italian family members in New Jersey.
Mm,
Those playing games with my brother and my father and mother and playing with my friends. That was my joy.
awesome. For me, I was definitely I had permission to express joy. I had permission to express gratitude. What I didn't have permission to express was disappointment. And as a kid who was adopted, there was a lot of that. Not in my adopted family, my mom and my dad. And at the time, I didn't know why it was there. It's only been through probably the last 15 years of doing a lot of exploration into that as to why there was disappointment and a high level of feeling rejected. And I turned all of that inward on me for sure, which led to a whole lot of other issues that I'm now working out for sure. But but yeah, it was. I think did I jump ahead? Oh, I did jump ahead, didn't I? But anyway, those were the two. Those that joy and gratitude were the two that I was allowed to express. So then, growing up, what feeling were you not or rarely given permission to express?
So you use the word disappointment, and I think it was the same. Anger and sadness, and even fear weren't as accepted, and in particular, sadness. So, yeah, my mother was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease when I was 8, and it
Wow,
absolutely would crush her if I showed my sadness. She did not want to make me sad,
wow,
and and I sensed that. I was a highly intuitive kid. I knew that. I think I was also terrified by it because my grandmother died suddenly when I was 3, and I think I saw my mother very sad, and so sadness was something I literally was numb, not sad.
wow.
Um, yeah, anger, I could be angry with my dad, but not with my mother. Again, same reason.
Yeah,
She loved me. She was great, but she couldn't tolerate thinking she'd angered me or made me sad.
wow, wow. Yeah, well, and I jumped ahead and answered that question for myself, but it's so interesting how even now, as you know, having kids of my own, how if they are disappointed in me, I scapegoat back onto them, and I get mad at them because I'm trying my hardest as a parent, and yet it's so difficult to hold that as human beings we disappoint people, and especially the people closest to us, and so definitely not even to this day. My parents have a real hard time with me expressing any sort of disappointment. What feeling did you learn to most often substitute for the feeling that you couldn't express?
For me, honestly, I got numb.
Mm,
Which is, I know, scary as a therapist. Um, but I was so overwhelmed by all the things going on. I was competent and capable and numb.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing what we do to substitute. I went to either extreme anger, uh, because I had so much frustration and that led to a lot of self-hate that then would just come out and explode, or extreme, uh, kind of euphoric spazzing out, just kind of like wanting to go full on in the other direction of, you know, whatever it was I was doing, music or playing with my friends in the neighborhood, or, as I got older, just the different activities that I was doing, in sports or in the community. It was like I became hyper focused on trying to tap into that feeling of euphoria, and so it was kind of an up and down existence for sure. But anyway, well, do you have any final thoughts you want to share on any of this?
Um, yeah, I think that it's important to look at where we were, but also understand we've come a long way.
Right.
And you've mentioned your kids. I certainly learned a lot from parenting, from being married, and so it's interesting to look at our own journeys and where we were and where we've come, and know that we still have work to do. And it's still weird to me when I catch myself in the numb place because I've worked very hard to feel what I feel. And
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay when I go there. It's because I'm human. It's because of what I went through.
Right.
So I think just be kind to ourselves
Mm.
as we do these explorations, as kind as we would be to our own beloved child.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Well, and to all of you, in the office listening to this, I just agree with Laura that the work continues, and yes, we're here to help our patients and our families, and certainly our patients and families are dealing with all of these same things, feelings that they were allowed to express, weren't allowed to express, but so are we. And Laura and I, part of our job is to help you guys process through these things as they come up, because they certainly do many times get triggered due to the patients and families that we are working with. So please don't ever hesitate to contact us. We love you guys, and we truly want to be here to help you reconnect and be revitalized, so that all of us can continue what I think is the calling that we all have to really care deeply for the patients that we have and for their families. So thanks for being with us today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all that you do. You guys are the superheroes of our office and of our city. And we'll talk to you next month. Have a great day.